you've worked quite a few leaders. What is one thing that they, even most experienced leaders, still fall for in operations? What are the gaps, the patterns that they always fall into, no matter what? You see always.
Losing the steam on something. You have a really great idea. You flesh it out with your integrator or your operations person, your team. You get them going. Everybody's on board. 3 months later, they're checking along. They're making progress. You kind of forget about it. And then you come up with a new idea that completely circumvents the original idea that you just came up with. I see that all the time. Um, and for me, I like to be like, hey, like as their advisor, being like, hey, remember 3 months ago we talked about this? The team's making really great progress. This idea is going to kind of derail it. So let's prioritize which one and helping bring them back because it's not like they're trying to derail the team. It's not that they're unhappy, but their ideas, their brain is going a million miles a minute and they have such beautiful ideas in this group that can help them bring it to life. So sometimes you just got to bring them back to that reality of like, hey, these are all of the projects that are taking place. Let's make sure we stick to the plan. Or if we're going to pivot, then we need to do it correctly because we don't want to make the team get all kind of upset about all this work they just did.
I think that example comes back quite a few times in the book Rocket Fuel. I've read it. I read the book. It's been 4 or 5 years, but still, I think I remember those cases vividly. Indeed. So you see
Yes.
those.
It,
Nice.
it was so much fun. Like I had a boss that I worked with and he was very much a visionary and I was very much his integrator. And he would come in after like a really great meeting. We're gonna do this. And I'm like, cool, but and then I go through the other list and he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a great idea. I'm like, I know, it was yours. So, really having, I think, that balance. And that's where I think what I do comes in so well because I can either work with you in your business and like help you guys fix it and work with the teams. But I'm also your sounding board and like, you're like, hey, shiny object syndrome, let's get focused.
So really helping them stick to their own agenda, their own ideas that they committed to before, and make sure those get done before going to the next one,
Yeah,
if possible.
we'll put it in the parking lot. There's always a parking lot of things that we want to do, and we can revisit that every quarter of like, okay, what do we want to do next? But let's stick to the plan.
Okay, nice. So give me one story. You've done quite a bit with Pocketio. Give me one before, like your biggest success story, before you started, after you started. A nice success story. What changed for that founder, the ways of working?
It's a great question. Okay, I have it. Um, I have a client that I started working with. I came into his business to help manage the operations and help get him out of the weeds. And he was working on two jobs at that time. He has a full time a job for a company, and then he has his own business because he just loves to work. Nothing wrong with that. Um, but he had little kids, and he wanted to start being present. He wanted to start being around and travel and do all these things. And so I came in and was like, what do we need to fix? Like, what does everything look like? And the first thing that we did was we got his time back. So we took everything by doing that. We took first everything out of his head and we created a single source of truth in just a Google sheet because we had a bunch of contractors all do different things. It was a marketing agency and all of these contractors were great at what they did. But if I asked like so and so what they were doing, they would tell me, but then they couldn't tell me what the other person was doing. And they couldn't tell me where to actually find anything because it either lived in his head or in their head. So we're like, let's get everything onto paper. Let's get everything into one single source. And by us doing that, getting it out of his head and starting to standardize the processes, because there was no transfer of knowledge for Google Ads management or website builds, we started creating templates and we started creating checklists. And again, everything was done in Google Suite. We did not get technical here. By the time we were done, within it was 3 months, he went on a 2-week trip with his family to France. And he only had to check in every few days with me because he'd be like, hey, what did that email say? Or if I had a question, I would just message and be like, when you have a chance. But he was able to truly let go and go on this beautiful trip with his family. and live his life and know his business was being taken care of, know that his clients were being served, his team was happy with what they were doing, and get time back. And now he works, I'm going to say 5 hours a week, maybe. And we just launched a second company for him. So that's going to be
Definitely.
my success story.
That's incredible. In just 3 months from like being involved in everything to being able to take 2 weeks of holiday, and now 5 hours a week sounds incredible. So much time to do other more interesting stuff as well, but incredible.
Exactly. And it's very, very possible, but you also have to be willing to not have perfection as that person that's bringing on help. Like you have to accept that for the first little bit, you're going to get maybe like a B and things will get better, but just hang in there.